Robotics is a complex science that involves knowledge from many fields. Today, we will talk about what a modern robotics engineer needs to know. But first, let's define what we need to know to make a robot. We need math, programming, modeling, and electrical engineering. Let's go over everything in order. We need math so that we can calculate the robot. What is the wheel's circumference to determine the length of the distance traveled? We will require knowledge of linear algebra, for example, to count derivatives. We know basic vector analysis stuff at the product of vectors and matrices. This knowledge will lead us to one essential thing, building a mathematical model. It is an excellent tool in robotics, and someday I will tell you about it in more detail. You also need to know many specific subjects, such as theoretical mechanics and automatic control theory. All of them are studied in higher educational institutions. Besides the mathematical knowledge of robotics, you also need to know at least two programming languages. Those are Python and C++ because you have to write programs for microcontrollers, and you mostly need C and C++ there. For example, if you are writing some neural network or working on Raspberry, there are a lot of libraries that are already built in Python that you can use. You can teach them yourself. And that's not a problem right now, and there are more than enough resources. When you learn how to write programs, you develop a specific type of thinking, and that's also a handy skill, even if it's secondary. Still, if you are going to make your robots, you need to create drawings and three-dimensional models. But first, you need to know how to make drawings and make views, sections, and cross-sections. Later you will need to learn 3D modeling, how 3D models of parts are made. You will need some program that can do 3D models for this. You will also need to know the basics of electrical engineering, at least a basic knowledge so that you can assemble electronics for a simple project using a ready-made block diagram. You also need to know how to design printed circuit boards and circuits, to know at least the difference between current and voltage, what resistance is, Ohm's law, the first and second Kirchhoff's law. It will already be enough to feel confident in simple electrical circuits. You can't draw a robot and design a multi-layer printed circuit board simultaneously. And you also have to make a mathematical model at the same time. In large companies, it's all done by individual people, and you have to choose which direction you want to go, electrical engineering or programming, or still mathematics. A natural engineer in robotics has to be broadly developed in related fields and deeply developed in their core area. Robotics is an exciting and cool discipline, and in our time, it is still an up-and-coming field. All the more so because it is young, and it is worth developing and investing your time and efforts in it. If you are interested in robotics, subscribe to our channel and develop together.